A donkey, a forest, and a village blindly following it for generations. This seemingly absurd story might just change the way you see your life. Welcome to Buddha and Mindfulness, where you'll find stories that heal, inspire, and awaken the mind. Today, we invite you to listen to a seemingly simple tale about a donkey and a small village. Yet it carries a profound lesson. Do not follow a path just because others have walked it, but have the courage to ask, is this truly your path? Once upon a time, in a poor village nestled deep in the remote mountains, there lived a donkey, just as ordinary as any other animal. The villagers lived quietly all year round, rarely leaving the village, and even more rarely did anyone from the outside world come to visit. Life went on in repetitive cycles, year after year. But this donkey had a different kind of thought. It often stood at the edge of the village, gazing into the thick forest beyond and wondering, why must I live my entire life in this confined place? What lies beyond that forest? Is there another world out there? One early morning, before the sun had even risen, the donkey quietly left the village. It had decided to walk through the forest, which everyone called dangerous and terrifying. No one dared to step into it, because countless rumors spoke of venomous snakes, wild beasts, and people getting lost. When the villagers heard about it, they shook their heads and scoffed. How foolish. Only a mad creature would risk its life like that. But just a few days later, rumors began to spread. The donkey had successfully crossed the forest. Though no one knew exactly where it had gone, people began to imagine a wonderful life it must now be enjoying beyond the trees. Curiosity and admiration slowly replaced the mockery in the villagers' hearts. One day, a group of dogs in the village overheard the story about the donkey. They thought, if a donkey can do it, then so can we. The next morning, the dogs followed the donkey's scent, and step by step, they too managed to cross the forest. This event shocked the villagers. What was once considered impossible now seemed entirely doable, simply because a few creatures had dared to walk first. Soon, the people began to act. A first group attempted to cross the forest. Then came a second group. Eventually, the whole village followed. They didn't need a map, nor did they think twice. They simply walked the path that had already been marked. The trail, first carved by the donkey, then reinforced by the dogs, gradually became a well-worn path. Over time, it turned into the main route the entire village used to reach the outside world. Many years later, when the government decided to build a road to connect the village to nearby areas, engineers were sent to survey the land. They asked the villagers, which direction would you like the new road to follow? The villagers replied almost in unison, just follow the old path, we're used to it, and it's the easiest way. The lead engineer furrowed his brow and asked, who first walked this path? An old man, leaning on a cane, stepped forward and answered, it was a donkey, a long time ago. The engineer fell silent for a moment, then slowly said, I'm not surprised that this path was created by a donkey. What surprises me more is that humans have followed it for generations without ever asking, is there a better way? He continued, in fact, we have just discovered a new route, shorter, flatter, and safer. But sadly, none of you ever thought to look for it. That statement left the whole village speechless. They realized a bitter truth, that for many years, they had followed a path simply because it already existed. They had never thought of changing it, never questioned it. They followed a road created by a creature once thought to be foolish, and continued on it generation after generation. In life, how many of us are doing the same? How many of our decisions are made simply because that's what others do? How many dreams have we left behind just because no one dared to take a different turn? We follow in the footsteps of those before us, even when we don't know who they were, whether they were wise, or whether the path is still right for us. The frightening thing isn't that a donkey walked the wrong way, but that humans abandon the ability to question. Sometimes, to begin a new journey, you don't need a map or a perfect plan. You just need a little courage to stop, look around, and ask, am I walking the right path? Thank you for listening to today's story on Buddha and mindfulness. If this story made you reflect, share it with someone who might be walking a path they never chose. Who knows, thanks to you, a new path may begin with them. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so we can continue spreading beautiful messages for a mindful life. We'll see you again in the next story, where together we slow down, awaken within, and touch the most meaningful truths of life. Buddha and mindfulness, stories and teachings for a mindful life.